What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, James Eakes, and today I've got a super sick team report for you guys all about Gmax Pikachu. This is my favorite Season 6 team that I've built so far, and it's honestly no joke. It is a ton of fun. First off, shout outs to my boy Scott for helping me build it, and this team came to me in a dream when I was trying to think of how we could OHKO Primarina in this meta. Dynamax Primarina. And you know, Primarina has massive special defense, its physical defense is its weakness, and we don't really have any amazing, strong physical electric types. And that's when it came to me that with all the other mons that got kicked out of the meta for the Season 6 bans, Pikachu is here. And it's a physical light ball Volt Tackle Pikachu. It does insane amounts of damage and can OHKO Primarina every single time with the Gmax Volt Crash, as long as you're not intimidated or whatever. But we will get to that. Pikachu has almost always traditionally been a special attacker just because it's easier to avoid intimidates that way. So we had to build the team to tailor towards a physical Pikachu. And now every team has its flaws, but I think that this team really came together. There is a ton of really cool synergies that you guys are going to see as we start building the team, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Guys, before we jump in, make sure to drop a like on this video, baby. It goes a long way, for real. Just drop a like. It's easy. And then, guys, check us out on Twitch. I stream full-time, 5 days a week. We're always doing really fun stuff over there. We just had a McDonald's mukbang for the 1,000 subscribers that we got here on YouTube. I'm planning a YouTube 1K sub special too, so guys, thank you so much for subbing to this channel, and I love and appreciate you guys. Let's jump in. So, like I said before, I wanted to build a team around Gmax Pikachu because it can reliably OHKO Primarina if you are a physical set. Building around Pikachu, it unlocked so many cool synergies and stuff that it was honestly really exciting. But one thing that was important for this team was that we needed to make sure that Pikachu could still be useful when we don't Gmax it. Pikachu is not a Pokemon that you can Gmax in every single matchup. So we needed to be aware that we need to be able to use it to its fullest potential with things like Fake Out and Lightning Rod. So at the bare minimum, it is a Lightning Rodder and a Fake Outer with decently high speed, right? That's the best it can do. And it hits pretty hard with its Volt Tackle, even with not being Gmax, just the Light Ball. So Pikachu is actually more flexible than meets the eye. That was the goal of this team. So we wanted something that could benefit from Lightning Rod. And then I knew that I wanted some kind of coaching on the team to boost up Pikachu's attack even further, to boost up its defense, to make it as bulky as it can be because Pikachu is insanely frail. And then I wanted something like Defiant or Competitive to once again scare away Intimidates off of our physical Pikachu even more. And then finally, I wanted some Rock Slide, baby, because if we're using Pikachu, whose Gmax move paralyzes both targets, and then we hit them with Rock Slide after that, they have the legendary Para Flinch chance, a very low chance to attack. So that was the goal. And when I was thinking of all these things together, Braviary and Terrakion were absolutely perfect to fulfill all of these roles. I would say Terrakion came first because I knew I 100% wanted a coaching mon to go with our physical Pikachu. Terrakion is obviously faster than Pikachu, so we can get the coaching off before Pikachu attacks, and then it's got the massive attack, Stab, Rock Slide for that Para Flinch action. And then, of course, Terrakion is very offensively strong itself. Just with Rock Slide, close combat, it does a bunch of damage. So what looks to be like the support mon of the team with just coaching, it's actually kind of a Swiss Army knife of a pick, being a great supporter and a huge attacker that we actually Dynamax in a few matchups as well. So Terrakion was awesome. Next up are the other two parts of Pikachu's toolset that I wanted to utilize, which was Lightning Rod and getting a Defiant or Competitive mon, and Braviary fit both of those. He was a perfect fit. He's weak to Electric because he's a flying type, and then he has Tailwind, making him a perfect tool to use with Pikachu to keep us up in speed. And then, of course, Defiant, keeping the Intimidates off of both Terrakion and Pikachu. And then Braviary is an amazing Dynamax Pokemon, so once again, we could lead Pikachu Braviary and then Dynamax the Braviary or Dynamax the Pikachu. You know, These three worked so well together. It was really, really cool, and you could capitalize off the Defiant boosts tremendously. And yeah, Braviary also loves to be coached as well. So all three of these Pokemon worked well together completely. They were the beginning core of the squad. So while the Pika, Terrakion, Braviary core was pretty lit, we still had a few matchups we needed to work on, such as Trick Room. And Trick Room modes were really scary versus the team, but Scott and Dimitri came up with the idea of coaching a Dhelmise. And I have to say, this was an amazing, amazing pick. Our team up above was still kind of weak to water types and ground types if they could get in a great position, and nothing better to defeat water and grounds than a big grass type. And Dhelmise was amazing. You could coach Dhelmise. +1 attack, +1 defense, and then we had an Assault Vest, so we were +1 special defense as well. Right after our coaching, he became an absolute monster. He could OHKO anything and everything that wanted to set up Trick Room. And if they did set up Trick Room, we were minimum speed Dhelmise, so Dhelmise would just beat everything like Rhyperior, Marowak, Dusclops, you name it. Dhelmise was an amazing Trick Room counter, and yeah, the Dhelmise coaching combo became one of the strongest modes of the team, I have to say. So I think if I'm going to make more teams in the future, I definitely want to look at Dhelmise with coaching support. It really, really, really was that good. And we still needed a little bit more redirection support, so we went with Clefairy next. Clefairy was a perfect fit. It seems like that for almost every Season 6 team, because Clefairy is just amazing right now. And I mean, everyone on the team loves Friend Guard, especially our extremely frail Pikachu loves Friend Guard. Follow Me support is amazing. Follow Me is one of the best attacks in the game. And then Helping Hand to keep that hyper offense pressure up and net those KOs. And then, I mean, we even had Icy Wind as a surprise speed control tech. So Clefairy was just the perfect fit. And the last thing that we wanted to address was those late game stallers like Ferrothorn, Corviknight, and Gastrodon. This final slot was a bit tough. Like I said, I wanted something that could defeat Corviknight and Ferrothorn, and I wanted it to be a special attacker because everything on our team was physical up until this point, and I wanted to be able to close out the game at certain points versus those steals. So that's when we decided on Volcarona. We tried out Arcanine first, you know, a special Arcanine with Heat Wave and stuff, but Arcanine just kind of changed the feel of the team. We are a hyper offense team. We are here to just destroy everything. And Arcanine is just more of a defensive pivoting mon, and it wasn't quite strong enough. So that's where we went with Volcarona. And then Volcarona also allowed us to have some kinds of support if necessary. It gets Rage Powder to redirect away from Pikachu, Dhelmise, Braviary, anything. And then it even has Struggle Bug, which is like a better Snarl if you didn't know. So Volcarona is pretty cool. It did close out the game versus those types, but I think this slot wasn't amazing. It was definitely the least used slot on the team. So let's start looking at Giga Chad Pikachu himself, baby. For the moveset, we knew that we wanted Fake Out and Protect so that we were still useful outside of Gigantamax and that we could max guard while we were Gigantamax. So those were the pretty obvious moves. And then, of course, like we said, we were going to be physical, so we wanted Volt Tackle. That one's very obvious. Huge, huge, huge damage off the Volt Tackle. And so I would say that the weird move here is Dig. Well, the cool thing about Dig is that it turns into Max Quake, huge ground type move, which helped us destroy opposing electric types, opposing lightning rotters such as Raichu and Togedemaru and stuff. And then it also gave us a special defense boost, which Pikachu is so frail. So we've got Coaching to boost its defense, we've got Dig to boost its special defense, and we've got Friend Guard to bulk up Pikachu even more. You guys are starting to see where all these synergies are coming together. And then we could even OHKO things like Alolan Marowak, who has Lightning Rod, right, with this Adamant set Dig. So with that, let's actually start getting into the EV spread. Now, Pikachu at max speed is at best a speed tie with max speed Porygon Z. If you guys didn't know, Porygon Z is just an absolute monster here in Season 6. So you invest all these EVs just to have a speed tie, it's really not worth it. I thought, and especially because Pikachu is so frail, I really thought we could get more value out of our max if we went a Adamant, higher damage with a little bit of bulk set, and that's exactly what this did. I think the Adamant Pikachu was amazing. It picked up OHKOs on non-Dynamax, max HP 4 defense Alolan Marowak with max dig, and then it killed max HP 4 defense Primarina every single time with the physical Gmax Volcrash even when they're Dynamax. So this Adamant set packed a lot of punch, and we were still pretty fast. The bulk, you can see it in there. It looks a little bit weird, but this gives us a 93% chance to survive Wicked Blow from Dark Urshifu, so the crit one, and we would survive that. That's without Frengar. So Frengar, we guaranteed survive it, and that's of course while we are Gmax. So as you can see, Pikachu is pretty frail, but it also provides a Life Orb, Modest Max Wormwind after a special defense boost from the Dig, from the special defense boost there. And then if they are outspeeding us, that means that they're timid, not modest, which means we'll survive anyway. And well, let's get into the speed then. The speed actually is 1 point faster than Jolly Dracozolt, so 1 point faster than base 75 speed Pokemon. So I thought that this spread hit so many cool benchmarks. I put a lot of work into this spread, and I think this is the most complicated spread on the team for sure. But it really paid off. I think Pikachu survived a lot of good moves. It did a ton of damage, and it was still extremely fast. So I loved this Pikachu spread. It was really cool. Tracheon is one of the most basic Pokemon on the team, but did its job tremendously well. I mean, Protect wasn't really necessary just because people thought Tracheon was going to Dynamax turn 1, and they were afraid to fake it out, which made its Focus Sash even better. You know, they don't break the Focus Sash with Fake Out, then we are going to survive whatever hit they hit us with in one hit every time. And then the moveset was pretty standard as well, except we had Taunt instead of the aforementioned Protect, and Taunt was amazing, dude. Taunt would stop Trick Room. Taunt would only let Grimmsnarl do one thing, such as, you know, one screen, and then it would be forced to switch out. We could taunt Amoonguss, who was going to Spore or Rage Powder, all that kind of stuff. Taunt on this offensive team was really good. It shut down all those annoying things, and then we were just max attack, max speed, get the fastest coaching off possible, and do the most amount of damage. So Tracheon was basic, but amazing. I struggled a lot with this Braviary spread since I wanted Braviary to be a form of speed control and still be useful without having to Dynamax. And I just found Braviary dying to so many of these crazy hyper offense things in the meta, like Porygon Z, like Dracozolt, Colossal, all that kind of stuff. So I knew that I wanted a massively bulky Braviary, and that's just what we did. The attack was to make sure it still packs a punch. It hits the bump in attack, which means it goes up by 2 for only 8 EVs. And then the speed is, it outspeeds base 100s after a +1 speed boost. So if we were to max Airstream, we'd be outspeeding things like Charizard, stuff like that. And then its neutral speed right now as well outspeeds modest Lapras max speed, which a lot of people are running that with like Life Orb, offensive stuff with Talonflame. So we do outspeed Adamant base 60 Pokemon as well at max speed. So the rest was thrown into special bulk to be able to take max strikes, max resonances, stuff like that from Lapras as best as we could. In retrospect, I think this Braviary was a little too slow. After we would get even a +1 speed boost, we would still be slower than things like Durant, Terrakion, Raichu, etc. And I think if I were to work out this Braviary spread more in the future, I would definitely speed it up. And then the moveset, pretty standard stuff. We wanted the Tailwind, Brave Bird, of course, Close Combat for the Max Knuckles and the fighting coverage, and then Rock Slide, baby, for more para-flinch action. Dhelmise was yet again simple but effective. I tried to optimize this Dhelmise spread, you know, seeing if we could get more points out of the Assault Vest and see if it was worth it, but Dhelmise was surviving every single special attack I could think of anyway. Gmax Lapras Max Resonance, Dark Pulse from, Max Darkness from Porygon Z. He was surviving all of this stuff anyway. So yeah, we just went with a pretty lazy but standard max attack, max HP set because the Assault Vest was pushing Dhelmise over the limit anyway. And then we were minimum speed so that if they do set up Trick Room, we counter them completely, and I totally stand by that. It was our best Trick Room counter was Poltergeist. Was Dhelmise. And then the moveset, yeah, we've got the biggest stab ghost move we can have in Poltergeist, biggest grass move, Power Whip, Anchor Shot for our steel move, and then Earthquake was our last move. It gave us the Max Quake, which is an amazing max move. Offensive ground typing is really, really good right now, and then the special defense boost is, of course, super lit. We could hit things like steals and fires that we normally couldn't hit with our 3 first moves, and yeah, nothing fancy here on Dhelmise. I think if we were to change something in the future, Anchor Shot's effect isn't completely useful all the time. So maybe Iron Head would be better for that 30% chance flinch. So I really love this Clefairy spread. I was stuck doing a lazy max HP, max defense Clefairy set for a while, but Season 6 has just so many special attackers in the meta. Duraludon, Porygon Z, Kingdra, you name it, right? And so I just thought that we needed to be a more specially defensive Clefairy right now. I thought that was the best adjustment we could take. And this is the spread I came up with. It was really good, and it can take like max Life Orb rain boosted moves from Kingdra. It takes max Steel Spike from most Assault Vest Duraludons, and even a max Strike from some more bulky Porygon Zs. Yeah, just because there was a lot less physical benchmarks to hit with Clefairy. The biggest physical attackers in the meta right now are like Urshifus, and Clefairy does great against both of them. So yeah, this moveset, very standard, Follow Me, Helping Hand, and Protect. The only weird thing was Icy Wind. That was our secret speed tech control. You know, we had a lot of speed control here. Pikachu Gmax, Tailwind, and now the Icy Wind for even further control. And Icy Wind came in handy a few times. You could switch it out for Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, or even something like After You if you feel like it. But yeah, that was the move we went with, and I like this Clefairy spread a lot. I would definitely recommend it to you guys. Finally came Volcarona. Volcarona was definitely the least used member of the team, but it did fulfill its purpose that it was put on the team to do. The speed is to outspeed max speed Urshifus, while the bulk is to survive a crit Wicked Blow from the single strike Urshifu 93% of the time. The rest went into damage to pack as big of punch as we could. Volcarona's moveset was not only trying to be supportive, but as that late game closer we talked about as well. Without Giga Drain, Gastrodon could actually become a problem for the team if Delmaz is defeated earlier in the battle. And then Struggle Bug felt really cool that we could still support the team when Volcarona wasn't there to necessarily end the game. We could still support, and along with Rage Powder, of course, for that redirection. And then Heat Wave was the fire move we went for. You know, it gets around stuff like Follow Me and stuff like that. And it doesn't hurt quite as bad as Overheat or even Flamethrower, Fire Blast, any of that kind of stuff. But Heat Wave is consistent damage, so that's the move we went with. And yeah, I mean, this slot is definitely changeable, but it did help end the game against those things like Ferrothorn and Corviknight that we really wanted to end the game against. So in conclusion, guys, I would say that this team has the weakness that any hyper offense team really does have. If you make a mistake or a wrong read early in the game, you get punished really hard, and it's hard to come back from that. But yeah, that's how every hyper offense team really plays here. And in Season 6, hyper offense is humongous. So if you guys want to use this team in the future, matchups that are pretty difficult, I would say, are Durant. Durant is very, very hard for this team. And then even opposing Clefairies can like stall out our Dynamax turns and just be really, really annoying. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deep analysis of my favorite Season 6 team that we've made so far with Gmax Pikachu. This team was a ton of fun. I hope you guys learned something, and maybe we unlocked some keys in your own team building as well by seeing how my thought process went about. So the rental code and the paste bin are going to be in the description of this video, guys, so check that out. That's going to be it from me. Remember, guys, like this video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, guys. You know, I'm working hard over here, baby. And check out Twitch, baby, where I'm streaming 5 days a week. It's always super fun over there. I'd love to have you guys. I love it when you guys are like, hey, I've been watching the YouTube videos. I finally came by. It's just such a cool feeling. So, guys, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subs, and peace, baby.